Hey, y'all. It's not always the devil. In Samuel, God had anointed King Saul to be the king for his people. And when God anointed him, he told him to be obedient and do what he tells him to do. But later, Saul decided to start taking matters into his own hand, where he was just, he wanted to start doing it his way. And it angered God. And God told Samuel to go to Saul. And he told him that rebellion is as sinful as witchcraft, and stubbornness as bad as worshiping idols. And he says, so because you have rejected the command of the Lord, he has rejected you as king. And that's 1 Samuel, the 15th chapter. And it's starting at the 22nd verse. So God was angry. So God told Samuel to go and anoint a new king. But God put a tormenting spirit upon Saul's life, to where Saul was dealing with some anger and hate, and he got to the point to where he wanted to take another man's life, to where he was just telling him, not only he not only was he dealing with stuff that was going on in his own mind, but he was just out here just telling people that this man is against me. It's not always the devil. Like, God is letting us know that when you are being rebellious, stubborn, and you have rejected God, God is letting us know that he would deal with you however he chooses to. We all have to go through consequences. And a lot of times when we're dealing with things, and everybody want to say it's the devil, because people just have it so caught up in their mindset that God would not punish us. And he will. And he punished Saul. He put a tormenting spirit amongst Saul's life, to where Saul was dealing with demons. A spirit that wanted to take another man's life. It's not always the devil. And I can't seem to understand why is it that people don't want to talk about that. Because every time something bad happens, then it's the devil's fault. The devil doing this. But let me tell you something. It's through the word how God will hand you over to the enemy. And God put that tormenting spirit over Saul's life. It's not always the devil. And it's not. I've been sitting on this message for about a month, because I was just like, this, people don't talk about this. Some people don't want to be truthful about it, because God is a kind and loving God, but he is our Father. And just like your parents punish you because you are being disobedient and you have not done what they have asked you to do, then guess what? God does that to his own children. If he's your father and you're being rebellious, stubborn, being disobedient, then why do we feel like that God is not going to punish us? Why do we feel like that it's going to always be that God just going to let us keep doing it our way, and don't think that consequences and punishment is going to come behind it? It's in the word. It's not always the devil. And people do not want to talk about that. But it's in the word how God turned his people over to the enemy. Look how he did King Saul. He put a spirit on this man. This man was around here trying to take somebody's life. All because he was being tormented. And guess what? It was not the devil. It was God. Why do we feel like that God is not going to punish us when we are being disobedient, but you call him your father? Why do we as people feel like that God is not going to correct us, but you call him your father? Why do we as people feel like that we can just keep doing things that's not pleasing to God, and God just going to let us keep doing it and feel like that it's no punishment, no consequences that will come behind it? If somebody is teaching that, if somebody is telling you that God does not deal with us in the way that he dealt with King Saul, and not only just King Saul, but his people, how he turned them over to the enemy. He put them in the enemy hand. If somebody is teaching against that, all I'm going to tell you, you better run as far as you can. Because I'm telling you, it's a false doctrine. A man-made. Because I noticed that people do not want to talk about that part. I always notice that because everything is the devil. That is not true. God would deal with us how he chooses to. But I'm going to tell you this. When you live in disobedience and not doing what God is telling you to do, you got to know punishment is coming. You got to know there's going to be consequences, judgment coming behind it. We are no different than the people that's in the word. Remember how people say everything that's going on in the word is just a repeat. Well, why isn't that a repeat? Why do we feel like we are exempt? Everything that's going on in this country is not the devil. And God gave me that last year, and I talked about that. Y'all, the stuff that's taking place, better yet, the stuff that's getting ready to take place that you haven't seen yet, it is not the devil. It is punishment. And we as people, when we are living in disobedience and doing things that's not pleasing to God, as a matter of fact, not even doing what God is telling us to do, it's no different than your parents, your mother, your father have told you to do something and you did not do what they told you to do. And guess what? You had to go through punishment. It's no different than with God. I mean, no different. You are not exempt. We as people are not exempt. It is not always the devil. And I had to come here and tell y'all, when you living in disobedience and not doing what God is telling you to do, get ready for that whooping. Get ready for that whooping because it's coming. Nobody is exempt. Nobody. So I want to tell you, it's not always the devil. God's hands is at work right now. You best to believe it. God's hands is at work.